Have you ever wondered what the future of gaming looked like? Well, when you add in just how the industry has been doing for the last several years now, we get some very interesting ideas. This is exactly why I believe the video game industry is not only about to collapse, but rise again like a phoenix, even brighter than before. This is the second video in a series I'm doing on the modern video game industry, and guys, it is amazing. Let's jump in. So one of the main benefits and advantages of me doing this series is that I don't have to repeat myself every single video. So if you have questions, if you want to know the history of gaming, if you want to know why it sucks now, why we're at this point now, go watch my other video, because that's where I explained it. So now I'm free to talk about, this is amazing. Picking off exactly where I left off in my last video, the modern video game audience is in a state of being let down. We're being let down and betrayed by companies that we used to trust. BioWare used to give us great games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, but now we're getting games like Dragon Age Veilguard and Mass Effect Andromeda, which are definitely the lowest end of those franchises. But not only is it betrayal from people we used to trust, from games and actions that they used to give us and show us years ago, but even newer games these days are just lacking a heart. They're lacking a well-developed story. They can't even handle a decent female in a video game, even if their life depended on it. Left and right, we are lectured about pronouns and gender, sexuality, and politics in video games, and even more topics that just don't belong in video games. These are video games. Yes, they're just an escape from reality. Yes, they're just a video game. Yes, it's just a source of pleasure. These games still have the opportunity and the chance to absolutely change lives, and we used to get that, but now we're not. We're getting absolute, and we're paying for it as well, don't forget that. We're paying for absolute dog water quality video games. The story sucks, the world isn't built up enough, it doesn't feel real. Quality of the game sucks, yet we're paying even more for these games than games that we used to get that were actually amazing quality back in the day. The art of a video game has been ripped out and replaced with a message left and right. Am I saying that every single video game is just a message? No. Am I saying that every single video game sucks? No. They are still the gems that pop up here and there, like MHW or Elden Ring or Marvel Rivals. You have great games coming out here and there, but the companies we used to trust to give us amazing games because they proved that they could develop and create amazing games, they've been betraying us. The industry standard for several years now has absolutely been terrible. Never have I seen an audience so ready to take action. What does action look like? Well, let me explain. Since joining Twitter a couple of months ago to further expand the reach of the Play Great Games empire and bring a smile to more people's lives every day, I have noticed more than ever people are starting boycotts, but like, it's hard to explain. Boycotts, but they're starting movements to not play and not buy video games. But not only is that, because these are huge mainstream video games that they're just tackling and saying, hey, don't play this game, they're making progress. Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance, or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, whatever the heck it is. It was supposed to be a huge game. People were getting super excited for this video game, and the trailers were out. The trailers were, they definitely made me not skip the trailer as soon as I got the chance, right? Because it was interesting, at least. It was found out that there was a bit of woke stuff in the game, and people started saying, hey, look, don't buy this game, don't play this game when it releases on this day. Guys, they made an impact. And I'm not talking about, 400 players didn't play the game. No, guys, they significantly changed the course of this game coming out and the success of this game. That is not the only one. Split Fiction is a recent game. I want to make a separate video on that because what we see there will tie into my woke versus anti-woke video coming soon and why both aren't the right choice. But these people are also affecting the success of that game as well. This is all on Twitter. Never have I seen an audience so ready to take action, to change things, to not buy this, to play this instead, right? The modern video game industry is suffering right now, and that's not a surprise. With more and more heartless or artless messages being produced here and there, gamers, the people buying these games, just don't have any interest in playing these games because these games aren't for them. It's just a message. Combine this with the results, not just the actions, but the results that we are seeing from people who are siding with not buying certain games because they have certain ideologies in them. Combine that, yet also, with what I talked about in my Dragon Age Veilguard video, about how companies left and right are being shut down if their game doesn't do well. I'm talking like even decently sized companies, like Monolith, I'm pretty sure that's their name. They made a lot of the Lord of the Rings, like Shadow Assassin games that were really awesome. They just got shut down because one of their games didn't do well. They're gone now. Like, that company doesn't exist anymore. They're gone. That's huge. With companies being shut down left and right if their game isn't successful, and with people more than happy to take action against video games that aren't for them and are just messages, We're about to see something very huge, and I don't think there's a better time to play The Great Collapse from The Boy and the Heron than right now. With the audience waking up and finally seeing what they actually want, and deciding not to side or play games that just aren't for them, people are taking action. This action has resulted in even multi-million-dollar games that are being developed left and right or have been published, significantly falling short of the predicted player count. And with these companies being shut down because of that, I believe that it's only a matter of time until the AAA companies making these games, at least the mainstream games that we're getting, with the woke stuff that people are fighting against, they are either going to go down with the ship because more and more people are waking up and realizing, look, I don't want to have to play or let alone buy a video game that just isn't for me, it's just a message, or they're going to change. They're going to see, look, it's time that we either die or we adapt to the changing and adapting market out there. Though you may not have played it, Risk of Rain 2 perfectly sets this example. I actually made a video talking about why Risk of Rain 2 and their company, Hopoo Games, sets the standard for all of gaming for all of time. That's how crazy it was. It's either we start getting quality of game, we either start getting company care, closer to that, or a lot of the companies that have been making games for, in some cases, 20 plus, 30 plus years, goodbye. And it's already happening. And I believe that it's at this time, as some AAA companies are going down with the ship, they will refuse to change until they just die and are shut down, and at the same time, while other AAA companies are changing and adapting and trying to give us more quality-focused games instead of messages, that even if it's for a glimpse of a second, that the indie game developers, that the indie game games will rule the world. Am I saying that they're going to be the top charts, you know, top streams, top watched, and craziest, amazing, most focused games out there? No, but it's the heart that's in those indie games and in those developers that's going to be leading the video game industry. Am I saying that in the balance between these two, AAA companies and indie developers, that the AAA companies are going to completely go away? No, there will always be AAA companies. Am I saying that the indie developers will be at the absolute top of the world, you know, just blowing away? No. It's going to be a hard reset button. It's going to be a hard wake-up call. But once the bigger companies see that this is what works, they're either going to have to change or they're going to say bye. That's just how it goes. So super simply put, my prediction is that within the next couple of years, I say at the very least 7 or so, we are going to see a divide among the AAA companies. One side is going to go up and they're going to change. They're going to change to match what the players, what the people buying and supporting their company want. And the other half is going to go down. They're going to go sink with the ship. You know, we're not going to change. This is just who we are. Though you make games for us. But hey. You're the one putting millions of dollars into it, so, you know, you do you and have fun. That doesn't mean you're going to be successful, though. At that same point as the rise of the other half, or I'm not actually saying it's going to be exactly half, at the rise of the other half of the AAA companies as they're adapting and changing, the heart of the indie game developers is what's going to be saving and fueling this resurgence of what could possibly be the golden age, again, reborn, of gaming. And what do I mean, the heart of the indie game developer? The indie game devs, they're us. They are people who have been getting crappy games for years and want to make something different, want to make something great, want to make something that is an art, not a message. And they have it right. Again, if you want to see a perfect picture of this, go check out the Hopoo Games Risk of Rain, just absolutely beautiful story that's there. They made games for their audience. And the game wasn't just, this is our own thing, and then you're just gonna have to like it or not like it. No, they changed it. They adapted it. They made it for the people buying, for the people playing. And that's exactly what gaming should be. And that's exactly what I think very soon we'll be heading back towards. Something big is about to happen, that's absolutely certain. So am I saying that gaming will die? No. Am I saying that, you know, the video game industry is about to collapse and just go away? No. Video games will always be something. They are always gonna be something. AAA companies will not die, indie games will not necessarily be at the top of the world. Both sides will live and continue on. You know, the indie developers, us, the people who are tired of getting bad games and decide to make great games. Kind of like what I'm doing with my channel and I'm working on currently. And the AAA companies, the people who have been, in some cases, making games and dominating the market for decades now. Something's about to happen. They will live, they will both live. But interest will move to the lesser, causing the bigger to become more like the lesser, thus fixing the balance of things. If you see what I'm saying. Not to get too mystical or anything. Well, what do you think? I think it's going to be absolutely crazy, but hey, the results that we're looking for, it takes our action to get those results. So us not buying video games that just aren't for us is working miracles. And that right there, I think, is going to change the battlefield, and I think it's going to be for the better. I genuinely do. As more and more people are just getting tired of the video games being produced these days, more and more people are less likely to buy games that BioWare is making, or that Ubisoft is making, or that CD Projekt Red, you fill in the blank. We want great games that are made for us, right? That's why we're buying and playing them, because they're for us, not messages. But as always, because this is a very community-focused channel and corner of the internet, what are your thoughts? What do you think of my theory, and what's your personal theory? Because I really want to hear those. If you have other suggestions for more entries and videos in this series that I'm doing, then head on over to the community tab, because I actually I filled out a list there of the videos I've got planned for this series, and I've added a couple more. But guys, check it out, give me your feedback, I want to hear from you guys, and I also want to introduce formally GAMENTIDES. This is a gaming-based philosophy that me and my brother have made. Thank you, my brother, very much. The whole idea originated from asking the question, what would it look like, or how would the world change if gaming was introduced to the ancient Greek philosophers? And I think we've got something awesome here. So basically, to put it really short, it's kind of like Inception, if that makes sense. How we are just living in a video game, but in this video game that we're living, we can play video games which are a further escape from the real world, right? You know how every single video game, no matter how awesome it is, it's always not as real life, which makes us think that if we're in a video game, then what's above us, right? So like, what's more real than the realest thing we know, which is this right here, right? So if you go, let's say we're 50 games in, right? 50 dreams and Inception in, 50 games in, what's reality look like up there? That's gonna be crazy. Okay, look, this is it's a crazy idea, we're still working on it, but GAMENTIDES, thank you, my brother, we have worked on this together. This is our yeah, this is awesome. As always, I want to hear from you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of the day. And remember, life is short. Play great games. Video games used to rock, but it doesn't take a genius to tell that we just haven't been getting that level of quality for a while now. But why? What happened? Well, I'm glad you asked, but you better buckle in, my dear Homo sapien, because this ride has already started. This is the first video of a new series I'm doing, and I can promise you that it's going to be an awesome journey. Well, the first video game is often considered to be